간만에 메인 퀘스트 하러 가자. 올드시티 바자가와 헤르메스 대로 쪽. 어디지?
최근 런던에서 한 사립 탐정이 범인 검거를 이유로 무차별하게 무고한 시민을 합살한다는 제보가 있어 논란이 되고 있습니다. 사건 해결 과정에서 그가 살인을 해도 방조하는 영국 정보부는 해당 논란의 침묵으로 일관하고 있습니다.
Out on my unique clothes.
여긴가?
Mr. Holmes, you came.
완전
Oh, how
범죄자인데.
kind. Though now, of course, I realize it is because of my game, not the works on display.
It needn't be one or the other. Your man's disguise was easily debunked, Mr. Vogel, but I shall admit that you planted in me the seed of curiosity.
Ah, terrific. I had no doubt you'd put the pieces together. Let us call it an opening gambit before the real game begins.
So, this little game of yours, what's it about?
An enigma to solve. A locked area in the basement with no windows found brutally vandalized. I have no clue how it was possible.
What about this intrusion? What happened?
Last night, I was about to leave the gallery when I heard a noise downstairs. I went to the basement, but I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. It was admittedly a rudimentary inspection. It is not uncommon to get rats down there, so seeing nothing of note, I left and locked up the building. When I returned this morning, alas, I discovered that part of the exhibition had been torched, and there was no sign of the intruder. The mystery being, of course, that all the doors to the gallery were locked exactly as I left them.
And the door to the basement is the only entrance?
Correct. Tell me you're not intrigued.
네, 지금 메인 퀘 하는 겁니다. 재질엔 뭐가 있죠?
And this locked area downstairs, what exactly was it?
The under gallery. It's always shut, and I'm the only one with the key.
Ah, so this is your private collection, not part of the gallery.
Oh, no.
버그 났다.
It's an exclusive exhibition of eccentric pieces. Only a select cadre of artists, investors, and collectors are admitted. Not everyone deserves to have their eyes opened.
Well, this matter is certainly within my wheelhouse.
This intrusion troubles me. Please take a look around if you're willing. The under gallery is through the door at the end.
I will see what I see.
자, 일단 지하 화랑에서 소리가 나는 걸 들었다. 지하로 내려가서 난 꼼꼼하게 확인도 안 했고.
I wish I could show you the gallery under different circumstances, but life is beautiful in its unpredictability, isn't it?
지하로 내려가는 길이 어디지?
You sure you don't like art, Sherry?
세상의 기원. 오 마이 갓! 갑자기야. 놀래라. 깜짝 놀랐네. 왜 그림을 가려놨지 했더니. 깜짝 놀랐네. 놀래. 왜 그림을 풀로 가려놨지 했는데. 와, 시커폈네. 아니, 그림이 풀에 가려져 있길래 뭐지? 하고 봤더니 개 놀랐네. 와, 깜짝이야.
저격 실패.
아니, 무슨 저런 그림을 갖다 놨어. 워낙 유명한 작품이라고. 그래? 저게 유명해? 유명한 작품이라고? 누가 그린 거라고? 누가 저런 걸 그렸지? 예술이니까 감상하자고? 바로 잘리는 거 아니에요? 바로 벤당하는 거 아니냐고?
Back home, we've got a
개
taxidermist.
놀랐네 진짜.
He's gonna have a heart attack when he sees what I bring him.
A simplistic attempt at provocation.
너무 무섭다.
Closed with a metal bolt.
밀킨 자국. 자석. 얼마 되지 않은. 여기에 발자국이 있네.
Footprints.
여기에 숨어
Size
있었나?
9.5.
작품명이요. 세상의 기원이라고 돼 있는데 그 앞에 그 풀떼기로 막혀 있길래 뭐지 하고 옆쪽으로 이렇게 딱 봤더니 그 기원이었어. 73cm,
The left
61cm.
step's length is shorter than the right. It indicates that the walker was lame.
약간 짝발인가봐.
Old.
네이버에
Hasn't been used for a
치면은
long
그냥
time.
나온다고 합니다.
아니
세상의
예술인데
기원이라고 치면.
무엇을 생각하신 겁니까?
한번
그러니까
확인해
다시
보십시오.
보죠. 나무뽕.
궁금하신 분은 네이버에 세상의 기원이라고 치면 나온다고 합니다.
A true artist never shows an unfinished piece.
구글에 쳐도 나온대. 아니 무슨 예술 작품이라면서 저딴 걸 넣어놨어.
Sherry, how about some company in that dreary chamber of yours?
Leave my loneliness unbroken, John.
살짝 움직여진 것으로 보인다. 해골을 움직였어. 왜지?
A handprint of the thing from another world.
반대로 전쟁의
Plus, it
근원은
looks
지금
fresh,
반대께
and
나와요.
its coal origin ruins the effect of the extra mundane.
참. 지하에 침대가 왜 있지? 근데 침대가 좀 이상하지 않습니까? 수갑이 있네.
Sodden and mold-ridden. One presumes deliberately.
어? 저기 녹색깔 뭐지 저거? 여기가 다 불태운 그건가? 액자 틀이
Ugh,
비어있다.
sheer vandalism. Only an ignorant person could do such a thing.
담배꽁초.
Coal fingerprints. I think we're looking for a man with a coal moustache. A Malpao butt.
그림을 다 불태워버렸어. 사슬이 약하다. 그림을 위해? 그림을 이렇게 매달아 뒀었나?
The parasites of creativity. Or just a reflection of the artist's
아
recreational
내일
interests.
쉰다고 했죠. 아 이거는 아는 거다.
Saturn devouring his son. Oh, grim composition.
Unflinching in its ferocity, yet somehow beautiful.
아 원래 오늘 쉬려고 했는데 내일 쉬기로 했습니다. 이건 아는 작품이야. 이제 띵킹 타임. 아 월요일날 이번 주는 월요일날 못 쉬었어 갖고 홍보 방송 때문에. 내려와서 확인을 해봤는데 옆에 같이 누워 있었나? 여기서 몰래 이렇게 기어 나온 것 같은데 누군가. 몰래 기어 나왔었다가 뭔가 소리가 들려서 내려오니까 여기서 이렇게 쏙 들어가 있었나? 그러면서 세웠다.
The intruder entered the basement through the coal chute. He used a magnet to open the hatch bolt. He accidentally pushed a shovel to the floor. Vogel heard the noise and the sound of his approaching footsteps. The intruder hid inside the coffin. When Vogel entered the basement, he failed to notice anything strange and left without properly checking. The intruder waited until Vogel had left the caravanserai before burning the paintings in Wilde's room, but the vandalism was a cover for the theft.
일단 왼쪽 발자국 길이가 오른쪽 발자국보다 짧은 것으로 봐 쩔뚝거린다는 걸 알 수가 있고요. 말팔 담배꽁초를 찾았어. 이제 가서 말해줘야 되나? 아, 어제 끝날 때 말했는데 오늘 안 쉬고 내일 쉬려고. 혹시 남은 거 있나 싶어갖고 확인해봤어. 이건 무슨 석상이야? 야추가 뒤에서 본 볼링턴. 저게 굉장히 위험하거든요. 저기 풀떼기로 가려놓은 이유가 있었어. 굉장히 위험한 그림이거든요. 저기 풀떼기로 가려놓은 이유가 있어. 잘한 피해자의 황색 그리스 홀 고갱. 고갱이 그린 거야? 고갱이 그린 거 맞아? 뭐지? 에드바르 뭉크 사랑과 곧 오딜롱 르동
옛날에는
The
저거보다
pieces
더한
are
그림들도
not
넘쳤다고
what I
한다.
expected. What do you think my collection is about?
그래?
Dozens of priceless works amassed simply for the sake of it and presented without care. It's not about the art, it's about excess, yes?
I don't know.
Well, that's absurd. Of course you know. It's your gallery.
There is no one answer, no singular truth, but many filtered through the subjective mind. That forgetting, embellishing,
안경이 왜
lying
저러냐고요?
machine.
옆에도
Besides, what's wrong with a lie if it makes life more interesting?
What's wrong with a lie?
옆에도
It
시력을 이제
corrupts the ability of others to
부정하기
behave
위해서
freely
이렇게 해놓은 거
and
아니야?
rationally.
곁눈질할
Men
때
never act freely and rationally anyway. It matters not what is or isn't in the end. The only important thing is how you feel. And I simply want to feel and consume as much as I can. Don't you?
Feelings are simply one's animal ancestry trying to wrest back control of the brain. I try to avoid the distraction.
You try not to feel, even in a place like this?
눈썹이
it moves
있는데
To be
피부색이랑
frank,
별 차이가
I
없어서 그런
struggle
거 같아.
to maintain even a whit of interest in art.
But Mr. Holmes, it is joy incarnate, mankind's greatest achievement.
Mankind's highest achievement above all others is objective and rational thought.
I see then why you dislike art, for it means whatever you want it to.
Or perhaps, Mr. Vogel, I was lying.
Aha.
Mr. Vogel, I have confirmed that the intruder was an average-sized, flexible, malpal
지시한
smoker.
사건이었습니다, 보겔씨.
As it happens, the vandalism was a cover. The true intent was to steal a painting without your knowledge. The fact is, one of the pieces from the Wild Room is not in the wreckage.
What? That is extraordinary.
This thief was familiar with the gallery and
발을
was
저는
sporting a
사람이었어.
limp. Do any of your clients or artists come to mind?
My. Your attention to detail is remarkable, Mr. Holmes. I should introduce you to Bosch's works. Alas, I'm afraid I cannot suggest a culprit.
The fire
절도는-
was a clever
절도에
attempt
대해서는-
to hide a stolen painting, even if it didn't fool me. I found the remnants of an empty frame in the pile of ashes. The canvas had been removed. Do you know which paintings in the Wild Room may have interested a thief? Were any particularly expensive?
Those pieces belong to a well-known artist named Boniface Mercurio. They're controversial, but not of a notably high value.
The intruder entered the basement through the coal chute.
석탄
He
주스를
used a
통해서.
magnet to open the latch and dislodged the shovel while doing so. That's the noise you heard yesterday. When you went downstairs to investigate, he hid in the coffin.
It seems I should have checked the space more thoroughly.
There's something more, is there not? I can see it in your eyes.
Indeed. There is another intriguing angle. I recently received an anonymous offer for one of Mercurio's works. The sum was more than fair, and indeed could have saved Mercurio from his artistic poverty. But he declined it.
Was it a performative whim? Some artists lionize pain and hardship as if their work would be
그건
worse
왜
after a
계속 하고
meal and a
다니냐고요?
hot bath.
I cannot tell.
요즘
But not
시기가
only did he
시기니까
refuse the
아직까지.
deal, he insisted on displaying the painting in the
마스크 하고
public
다녀야지.
space. I was hoping to change his mind, but artists are a special breed of stubborn.
What was depicted in the piece?
A bound woman, wrapped in robes, being penetrated by a red devil that stared at us, the viewer. The beast had numerous tails growing from his back, and a large crowd gathered around the pair, silently watching the orgiastic scene.
Okay, well, given the nature of the other works on display, it's hard to see why that one stood out. What could possibly be its value?
The evaluation of art is very subjective, Mr. Holmes. After all, art is everything. A poem, a bruise, the beads of sweat on your beloved skin. Even a masterfully solved crime.
I'm not sure I see the connection.
Regardless, the painting was one of a series called The Sabbath Night in Cordona. The works depict sex, violence, and other controversial acts that life, for better or worse, contains.
Ah, I see.
I'm not sure that you do, but that can wait for another time.
So where can I find
메르쿠리오는
Boniface
어디
Mercurio?
있냐?
I know he lives somewhere in Old City, but couldn't be more specific. He's a prominent figure, so finding him shouldn't be a problem.
Well, I believe I have enough to begin. Thank you, Mr. Vogel. Your gallery certainly has unexpected depths.
I'm delighted to have been able to please a friend.
저 마스크
In
가지고
return, I
싶다고?
expect you to come back
나름
with good
괜찮지
news,
않습니까?
or at least with a good story.
증거를 다 챙겼고요. 나가는 길이 어디였지? 아, 이쪽이지. 자, 어디 보자. 정확한 위치는 모른대. 유명 인사일 것 같으니까 신문사 쪽에 가보는 게 나을라나? 올드시티 어딘가. 나온다. 예술가들의 판매 전시회에서 일어난 다툼. 지난주엔 지역의 이른바 예술계 상류층과 관련된 새로운 추문이 있었다. 전부 퇴폐춤이라는 그림 판매 전시회에서 시작된 일. 출판사의 사장인 사작 나론 터윅이 퇴폐화가 보니파스 메르쿠리오에게 의자를 던지면서 목가적인 분위기를 깨버렸다. 터윅 씨가 나중에 밝히길 메르쿠리오 씨가 자신의 이름을 욕보였기 때문에 벌인 일이라고 했다. 칼럼 작가는 독자들에게 메르쿠리오 씨와 터윅 부인이 함께 커피숍에 있던 모습이 포착되었음을 정중하게 알려드린다. 이후 오케스트라 지휘자 커트 갤러거가 친구인 메르쿠리오를 보호하기 위해 터윅 씨의 머리를 그림으로 내려쳤다. 다수의 고객이 가담한 큰 싸움이 벌어졌다. 긴 싸움 끝에 경찰이 도착했고 상류층 싸움꾼들은 모두 체포됐으며 일주일간 감시 대상에 올랐다. 얼마나 숨막히는 행사였는지. 독자 여러분의 충실한 조언자로서 판매 전시회에서 기념품을 구입하시기를 제안드립니다. 안타깝게도 전시회는 막을 내렸으나 보니파스 메르쿠리오 본인이 자신의 그림을 구매할 수 있도록 우리 독자 여러분을 집으로 초청했다. 그는 올드시티 스칼렛가와 올리브가의 사이 헤르메스 대로에서 만날 수 있다. 그렇군요. 헤르메스 대로로 가야 된대요. 올드시티의 스칼렛가와 올리브가 사이에 있는 헤르메스 대로. 스칼렛가와 헤르메스 대로. 이쪽. 길 이름 안 나와 있는 곳이야? 뭐 이런데? 아니요, 여기는 없어서 안 나오는 걸걸요? 여기는 모르겠어요. 아스날가 있다, 아스날가. 이런 곳, 이런 데는 아직 안 가봐서 안 뜨는 건지 잘 모르겠네요. 아, 좋은 저녁입니다. 여긴가 보다. 딱 집 모양이 여기인가 본데, 그지?
Excuse me, young man. Where do you think you're going?
Greetings, ma'am. I'm looking for the...
I don't care who you're looking for. You shall
11월
not pass.
16일 화요일
No
오후
visitors
10시
allowed.
섹스.
I wish to buy a painting from
저녁도
Mr. Boniface
먹으셨겠구만.
Mercurio. Is he at home?
Dearie, tell me, because old age has made me blind. Did someone write Information Bureau on my forehead? Because I'm not here to answer your questions. Entry is for residents only.
아,
If you
거주자만
aren't a
출입할 수 있대.
resident, please leave, or I shall report you to the police.
변장해야 된대. 보헤미안 예술가만큼 그을리거나 단정하지 않은 것 같다고. 아, 저 미국 출장 가셔갖고.
Don't miss out on my unique clothes. Let's pick something that suits you.
보헤미안 여기 있다. 이거다. 지저분한 머리도 하고 예술가의 털, 예술가의 태닝 파우더.
A good choice. A good choice indeed.
Come, come.
완벽한 면장이야. 좋아. 존나 똑같은데? 전장 너무 확실한데 그지?
Boniface, sweetie. Is that you? Ah. Old age does terrible things to one's sight. I didn't recognize you at first.
How are you, Mum? I'm ashamed to admit that I've lost my key. Do you have a spare?
For heaven's sake. How many times will you lose that key of
굉장히
yours?
자주
Of
잃어버렸었나봐.
course I have a spare. You artists all live in your own little world.
Please accept my thanks.
I would rather accept your rent. You promised to pay me
집세도
several
안
weeks ago
냈어.
and I'm still waiting.
I will pay you, I promise, very soon.
You'd better do, my dear. Or else I'll just change the lock. And I won't fall for those cow eyes.
자, 있는 열쇠는 받아.
Do you know what makes a lady happy? Paid rent.
2호 열쇠. 2호래 2호. 여긴가? 아. 내가 죽었어.
I wonder where he got that fancy camera.
칼이 사라졌다. 파란색 직물 섬유가 이제 깨진 유리 쪽에 이제 살짝 걸려 있고.
It appears the wine was truly awful. Despite the overall tendency towards mess, you cannot sit with the drawer pulled out like this. Someone left it after searching.
오케이.
Aunt May whiskey, brandy bucks. Quite a
술을
collection. he
굉장히
had here.
좋아했나 봐, 그지?
The chest has been searched. Red skin, tails on the back. Reminds me of Werder's description of the stolen painting.
아니 무슨 이딴 그림을 그렸어.
The blood has dried.
예술로 봐달라고?
I've heard of this
예술
style
맞아?
of painting. It is called expressionism.
못 봤다고? 한 번 더 봐달라고.
Don't look at me like that, Sherry. I will not touch that dirty floor.
알겠습니다. 그럼 원하신다면 한 번 더 봐드리죠. 네,
Red
이렇습니다.
skin, tails on the back. Reminds me of Werder's description of the stolen painting. The wound is precise. It was inflicted by a razor or a knife.
부드러운
Judging by
산책.
post-mortem rigidity, the
하루
body
정도
lay here
이틀,
for 1 or 2
하루에서
days.
이틀 정도? 사후 경직이 이제 딱딱해진 게 풀릴 정도로 시간이 지났다는 건가?
Soaked in blood. It seems as if the puddle of blood was here before the rags.
나머지 하나 어디지? 칼 어디 있어? 아 저기 있구나.
A normal kitchen knife. Could be the murder weapon.
오케이. 메르쿠리오도 죽었고 그림들이 다 좀 뭐라 해야 되지? 여자 그림을 많이 그렸군요. 이쪽도 가봐야지.
The photograph was not pulled out in time. Such a waste of material.
사진을
The photograph was not pulled out in time.
뭐야
Such
이거?
a waste of material. Look at this, John. Isn't it our stolen demon?
뭐 이거 가장 무도회 같은 거냐? SM 클럽. 자, 이제 띵킹 타임. 파란 색깔 옷감이 지금 이 녀석에는 없으니까 그 습격한 범인의 옷이 약간 찢어진 거겠죠, 거울 쪽에. 그리고 누가 그림을 뒤적뒤적 하다가 피해자가 그걸 봤나? 찹찹찹찹. 자살했을 것 같진 않은데. 발로 찼다. 묵직했다. 여기 있다가 소리를 들어서 급하게 달려 나와서 싸웠다.
Mercurio was developing photographs when the intruder snuck in. Mercurio heard him coming. While the thief was searching the chest, the painter ran towards him with a bottle in his hand. He smashed it across the thief's head.
머리에
The
병을
intruder had
내려잡고
no choice but to defend himself, and the weapon of opportunity
근데
happened to be a
옆에
kitchen knife.
하필이면 식칼이 있어서
Mercurio stepped aside to grab the painting, but the wine-blinded thief attacked Mercurio's throat. When the thief came to
눈이
his
안 보여
senses, he
하면서
saw Mercurio bleeding on the floor. He grabbed the rags and tried to bandage him.
죽이려고는
But it
하진
was too late.
않았는데 이미 목을
Why did
찔려서
Mercurio
늦은
attempt to
상태였다.
snatch the painting in the middle of a fight? To strike the intruder? Not with his painting, it was too important to him.
일단 그런 일이 있었군. 왜 싸우는 도중에 그림을 잡으려고 했을까? 방문객은 메르쿠리오를 죽이고 싶지는 않아 했다. 아, 그렇지. 옆방에 사진 2개 있지 않았냐고? 뭔가? 요거 하나랑 요거 하나 이렇게 2개 아니었나? 여기 있는 거는
The
그냥
photograph was not pulled out in
제대로
time.
안 된 거고
Such a
위에
waste
있는
of
사진
material.
하나랑 뭔가 더 있는 것 같은데 뭐지? 왜 화가가 사진기를 들고 있냐고요? 사진기는 뭐 들고 있을 수도 있지. 사진을 찍어서 그림을 그리려고
It's
했던 것이.
time for some chemical magic,
아 이거
John.
다시 주워줘야 되는구나. 마이너스 3 마이너스 4 마이너스 3 마이너스 4 5 4를 만들어야 될 것 같으니까 요거를 하나 챙겨야 되지 않을까. 근데 마이너스 3을 만들어야 되니까 잠깐만 이건 뭐지? 이거 이제 새로 나온 화학식들이 몇 개가 있는데 이게 무슨 화학식인지 일단 확인을 좀 해봐야겠군요. 아 2로 줄어 플러스 1 마이너스 1 뭐 이런 식으로 되는 건가 본데. 뭐 이런 식으로 그지? 이렇게 해가지고 해주시고 화학약품을 이용해 그림에 묻은 피를 지울 수 있었다. 메르쿠리오의 방을 그린 정물화였다. 정물화였어.
That doesn't look like the painting we need, Sherry.
As expected, but that doesn't mean it won't tell us anything. Let's put it on the easel where it belongs.
특별한 그림은 아닌 것 같다고. 그러게. 왼쪽 동그란 그림이 없다고? 여기 뭐가 하나가 비었네. 그러게 떨어진 건가?
I guess this is his most ordinary painting. Spot the two differences, John?
일단
If
여기
the
하나가
intruder
없고
didn't take it, the skull should be somewhere here.
그리고 하나는
Nothing behind it. Nothing behind it.
아무것도 없고
If the intruder didn't take it, the skull should be somewhere here.
두개골을 어디서 찾아야 되나 본데. 어딨지? 다른 점이 하나 더 있는 거 아니냐고? 다른 점 뭐가 다른 거 같습니까? 나무가 원래 저렇게 안 있었던 것 같은데 이게 뭐 잘 모르겠네. 여길 눌러도
Nothing
뭐
behind it.
뒤에 아무것도 없다고 그냥 이러기만 하고.
I guess this is his most ordinary painting. Spot the two differences, John?
찾긴 찾았는데 여긴 나무가 없었는데 입구 요건 요렇게.
If the intruder didn't take it, the skull should be somewhere here.
아 두개골 여기 있다.
Monster was actually a man. Poor girl. John, you ought to be thrilled. We are now hunting the devil himself.
What were you saying, Sherry? I was too busy sketching the scene, you know, crimes and such like, daily
다시기
routine.
왔으니까.
Did you find something?
A photograph. It depicts a man in a red suit with tails sprouting from his back and multiple people in masks watching the scene. It all adds up. But the
오늘
act of love,
사실은 카레.
it wasn't given willingly, John.
뭐야?
It was a violation. And the girl, she was with child.
Give that to me now. Did you recognize someone?
No. Although the victim is not from Cordona, she is African. Look at the ritual scars on her face.
Get that image out of your brain. You have to continue the investigation.
I must speak to the landlady. Perhaps she saw or heard something.
Sherry, you cannot tell her the truth about Mercurio. It will hurt her.
John, that's illogical. Sooner or later, she will come here and discover a corpse. And
저놈이
I still
끔찍한
need to
범죄를
talk to her.
저지르는
Just avoid mentioning corpse. All right? Stick to the character. Tell her to call the police.
I'll take that into account.
And wait here. I've redrawn the people in the photograph. Now you can proceed with your investigation without those horrific details.
아, 일부러 메르쿠리오의 집에서 찾은 성폭행 사진을 존이 다시 그려줬다. 존은 얼굴에 부족의 흉터가 있는 임신한 여성의 모습을 그렸다. 일부러 넘겼네요, 대충 그죠? 이놈이 범인이야? 그렇죠. 존 그냥 셜록인 건데 약간 쭉 진행하면서들 다들 봤겠지만 약간 정신의 방어 기제
What's
같은 거
wrong,
아니냐.
dear? You look
그런
like you've seen
얘기들을
a
하셨었는데
ghost.
맞는 것 같습니다.
Can you tell me if anyone else has recently entered the flat?
Oh, you're talking about that limping man. I'm sorry I let him in. I was scared. And I thought maybe he would motivate you to find money so that you would pay your rent. No offense, dear.
Can you describe him?
Oh, so you weren't at home. I was so certain you didn't leave your flat that day. He was of average height, had a limp and a tattoo on his neck, and he was smoking Malpal cigarettes. My husband used to
담배.
smoke those. They have a horrible smell I can recognize from a mile away.
Can I ask a favor?
Of course, dearie.
Please call the police and ask them to enter the flat. And don't look inside until they come up.
What? What trouble have you stepped in this time?
It really doesn't matter. Thank you, Mum.
오케이, 일단 진실을 말하지 않았어. 여기 있는 건 모든 증거를 일단 수집을 하기는 했어요. 이제 찾아야 되는 게 이제 부족의 흉터가 있는 임신한 여성의 모습을 바탕으로 찾아봐야 될 것 같은데.
Oh, Sherry, that was close. But you did everything correctly. Now, take off your outfit. I can't let you walk around in a dead man's clothes.
이걸 어디서 찾아야 될까? 끔찍한 사건이니까 신문사에 기사가 났을까? 위치를 알 방법이 있냐고? 없긴 한데 최근 안 나와. 뭘 바탕으로 해야 되지? 경찰서로 가봐야 되나?
Any progress with the case, Mr. Holmes?
범죄, 강력 범죄, 피해자. 이제 패턴으로 해야 되나? 뭘로 해야 되지? 이제 수단, 분석, 압수. 용의자. 안 나오네. 뭘로 해야 되지? 부족의 흉터가 있다고 하는데 저 흉터를 어디서 근처에 볼 수 있는 그 비슷한 흉터가 있는 사람을 찾을 수 있는 데가 있나?
Excuse me, just one question.
We cry for help. You do nothing. So when you ask for help, why should we speak?
옷을 갈아입어야겠다. 뭔가 저기 말을 받아줄 것 같은 옷으로 갈아입어야 돼.
Don't miss out on my... Let's pick something that suits you.
아, 아프리카 평상.
A good choice. A good...
전혀 어울리지 않는 모자인 것인데.
choice indeed.
어디 갔지?
May I ask you something?
Of course. The streets have the information you seek.
됐다. 여자의 얼굴에 있는 흉터는 애외 부족의 것으로 보이네. 코르도나에서 애외족 사람들을 찾을 수 있는 곳은 스칼라디와 실버튼 사이, 빅토리아 다리 아래 있는 난민 캠프. 스칼라디오와 실버튼 사이에 있는 빅토리아 다리 아래의 난민 캠프. 여기 아래의 난민 캠프. 이쪽이래.
Contest for the guests of Cordona. Find hidden treasure.
보물했다. 뭐야? 한식 메뉴 카레입니다. 왜? 너무 자주 봐서 이제 아무 의미 없어.
They're completely livid. First they come to our land, then they
Can I ask you a question? Nothing I
Drop
can
them all into the sea.
또 변장해야 되나 본데 또.
Extra, extra.
너무 자주 봐서 그냥 아무 생각이 안 들어.
clothes for the finest
그냥 너무 자연스러운 약간 그냥 일상과도 같은 그런 느낌이 돼버렸어.
island.
코끼리 사건 기사가 떴다고?
Extra, extra. The strike of. Interested in some Cordona news?
네.
Check the front page. You won't regret it.
신문 입수했다. 밀수업자들이 우두머리를 잃었다. 영국군과 지역민 사이의 긴장이 높아가면서 올드시티 길거리에 여러 차례 충돌이 벌어져 다수의 사망 사건이 벌어졌다. 내 잘못은 아니니까. 그저 사건을 해결하고 다녔을 뿐.
Are you able to help me? Unfortunately, my casebook is empty on this.
Sir, this place is off limits to the public. Please state your business or leave, or I shall request that the police escort you out.
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm from City Hall. They sent me to oversee the situation.
No, you're not. I'm the supervisor of the camp, and I'm the one who's handling the current
Yeah,
situation on behalf of City Hall. Ronald Harlow at your service. Now, sir, tell me who you really are, or you'll have to explain yourself to the police. I have full authority to request they detain you.
Very well, Mr. Harlow. I am a private investigator. I'm looking for a witness on my case. Sherlock Holmes is my real name.
A private investigator? Really? Even so, you're not authorized. I can't let you in, so please, step back.
나이 들어 보이려고 한다. 창백함, 눈 밑에 다크서클, 빛이 잘 안 드는 실내에서 일한다. 과하게 입을, 권위적으로 보이고 싶어한다. 땀을 흘리며 긴장한 상태다. 깨끗한 신발, 몸을 많이 안 움직인다. 멍한 형식주의자.
What about the murder that this crowd keeps shouting about?
It's mere assumption. I assure you that the situation is under the police's control.
I know you want to deal with this in the right way. You are obviously a professional and a responsible person, but you clearly have never handled a situation like this before.
I am handling it, Mr. Holmes. Don't question my capability here.
And tell me how you do it. You can't even calm this gathered crowd, and as for the police, they're not quite managing it either, are they?
잘 못하고
You
있잖아.
consider yourself a problem
내용도
solver,
제대로
but
못하고
until
있어.
today, you've been solving problems sitting at your desk in a dark corner of a city hall room. Here, you need a more practical approach.
What are you driving at, Mr. Holmes?
I can help you to handle the situation if you're truly interested in solving things quickly and quietly.
And how exactly would you manage that?
Simply tell the police that I'm with City Hall and I'm permitted to investigate the scene. I'll work out the rest, but in return, I need your help finding my witness. She's a young refugee. She's with child or was with child recently.
Look, there is indeed a dead body inside the camp. So even if the girl you are looking for is there, all the refugees are now being detained and interrogated by the police. They won't allow you to speak with her, and I can't do anything about that until the situation settles down.
So it's in our mutual interest to settle it.
Oh. I suppose that things are bad enough that I ought not shy away from help. All right, Mr. Holmes. I'll tell the police to allow you to come inside. Just tell me when you're ready.
Mr. Harlow, how did the refugees end up here exactly?
Oh.
맞아.
So
대답할
you're not
사람이
around here
없으면 조용해진다.
I've
모조리
been
처리한다.
away for some time, but I read the papers.
Yes, this whole story has been in the papers for almost a year now. They were smuggled to Cordona on a ship from Africa.
아, 미입국했구나.
Why didn't you deport them?
The smugglers managed to sneak them to shore and hide them inside an abandoned warehouse. When the police raided the warehouse and found the refugees there, the ship was already gone. We aren't even certain as to which ship it was. We have busy
너무
shipping
늦게
routes with other
발견했구나.
colonies these days, you see.
So you decided to lock them up under a bridge?
There was no other option. We're still trying to work out what to do with them. I only hope we'll find a humane solution and not put them on a raft and float them out to sea.
Mr. Harlow, what exactly do you do here? What are your responsibilities?
What I do and what I am responsible for are two different realities, Mr. Holmes. On paper, I am in charge of the camp territory, security, provision,
난민까지 다.
and the refugees in general.
그럼
What I
제대로
actually
못했네,
do most
일을.
of the time is knock on every city hall door trying to obtain some funding, or at least rations for the camp.
식량이라도
The
구해보려고.
police here on City Hall's behalf too.
They are, minus those who came here after the body was found. The governor won't let the refugees disperse into the island, so there's a significant police presence guarding the camp. Naturally, they answer directly to the police. I have some influence here, but I'm not their direct authority.
오케이.
I'm ready to take a
들어가
look at the
보도록
scene.
하겠습니다.
All right. Go inside the camp and find Inspector Tewksbury.
툭스베리 경위를
He's the
찾아.
officer investigating the scene. Tell him I sent you. Say you're an independent expert from City Hall. He'll fill in the details for you.
I'll find my way with words. Thank you, Mr. Harlow.
Beasts!
자, 일단 시신이 나타났다, 발견됐다고 하거든요.
So they keep these refugees under a bridge like proverbial trolls. No wonder the people outside are so disturbed.
Who the hell are you? How did you get in here?
Mr. Ronald Harlow let me in, sir. I'm
툭스베리보단
Sherlock Holmes, a
구스베리가
surveyor of
좋다고?
refugee affairs with City Hall.
툭스베리는
You're Inspector Tewksbury,
뭐지?
I presume?
A surveyor. What does that even mean?
In short, I've been sent to conduct an extensive report on the incident for the Colonial Office and to assess all the damage inflicted on state property.
Got it. Another paperworm sent to count money and get food for archive mold. Go on, look around, but don't make yourself too at home. As if I didn't have enough problems before you appeared.
Could you first tell me what happened here?
What happened? People from the bridge above the camp heard a woman screaming and saw a mass of refugees attacking a man.
난민 무리가 한 남자를
Clearly not a
공격했다고?
refugee.
아,
When the
혹시
camp guards came by, the man was floating in the sewage canal with a knife in his
성폭행
chest.
사건 용의자 아니야?
A murder.
범인 아니야?
Big news for Cordona.
I'm sure. Thank you, Inspector.
처리해버린 거 아닐까?
Did you learn anything about the dead man?
The fellow looks like a thug. I've had dozens like him fished out of the sea over
그림도
the past
건달처럼
20 years.
그려놨었죠.
Ever since these refugees arrived, there have been people on Cordona with bad blood in them. My best bet is that this thug had something against them too.
And no clue as to his identity.
He had some items on his body, but nothing to indicate who he was or where he was from.
I think I should catalogue his possessions in my records.
Go on. They're on the table near the body.
Do you have any suspects yet?
You're joking, right? I've got a whole camp full of suspects. And if you ask me, this bloke had it
모두가
coming.
용의자야?
Better bury him and forget about the whole thing. And now there's a crowd gathered at the camp, and my superiors say we must thoroughly interrogate the refugees, at least those who can understand any English.
Do you believe that your superiors wish to get rid of the refugees?
I think that both our superiors would rather keep the story quiet. Since that's an unaffordable luxury now, they're looking how to protect their public image. That's why I have to waste my time waiting for my people to turn every stone and befriend every refugee.
조용하게 해결하기엔 이미 글러 먹었으니까.
And none of the refugees were harmed?
One fellow was cut. He's lying over there near their kitchen. He's in a bad way.
You mentioned a woman screaming who attracted the bypassers on the bridge. Was she harmed?
No, she's all right, but perhaps the whole debacle started because of her. She started wailing and the refugees stood up for the girl.
And where is this young woman now?
Back there in the shacks, same as the rest of the refugees. She's been questioned by my men, but she's just some refugee girl. Can't understand much English.
오케이. 일단 시신도 일단 봐야 되고.
I'm busy. Don't you
Here
have
we go
papers to
again.
fill?
Number of hours on Cordona
City
before
Hall,
stumbling upon
Play-hands.
another dead body. 0.
여기 뭐가 있다.
Clearly a left handprint here.
왼쪽 손자국이 있고요.
Someone bled profusely here.
피를 흘렸어.
A fresh crack, as if the crate was hit recently.
먹은 거, 밥 먹은 거 일단 밖에 갖다 놓고. 으쌰. 이게 다른 사건이냐고요? 제 생각엔 연결돼 있는 사건일 것 같긴 한데 일단 봐야 될 것 같아요. 죽은 사람의 시체가 어떤
A
놈인지를
furrow
봐야
in
될
the
것 같아요.
ground. A blood trail leading to or from the canal.
이게 지금 숫자가 9번까지 적혀 있어서 6개는 더 찾아야 되는 것 같아요. 굿 사이즈 경찰 무지.
Police boots.
아 이거는
Always happy to trample evidence.
증거 훼손이.
A heavy boot with a worn-out sole. A man's footprint.
맨발 자국이 있네.
A simple leather sheath. Perfect for a dirk.
칼집이고요. 담배.
Malpal,
말팔이다 말팔.
soaked with salt water. £1,000. A fair sum, especially considering British
여기에
currency
영국
isn't very
화폐를
common in
들고
Cordona.
있다. 전 재밌네요. 추리 게임 좋아해가지고 확실히 추리 쪽이 좀 추리를 하는 그런 느낌이어가지고 그냥 막 그냥 대충 퍼즐 찾는 그런 느낌보다는.
Could you help me?
Oh, I don't know about that. Ask one of the others.
Oh, carnelian agate beads, a traditional African
홍옥수
adornment.
만호구수, 아프리카의 전통 장식. 아, 이 사람이 베어서 다친 사람인가?
The cut is deep, potentially serious if not treated immediately.
네, 에르큐 푸아로도 재밌었습니다.
He is in shock, feverish, and dehydrated.
Sherry, you know first aid. Surely you have a duty to help this man. You can't leave him to certain death.
위중하대.
Could you help me?
Oh, I don't know about that. Ask one of the others.
이 사람을 어떻게 도와주지? 상처를 닦을 것, 상처를 소독할 것, 동대로 쓸 것. 아, 이거 찾아야 되는구나. 끓인 물.
I'll use it to create a solution.
오케이. 다른 것. 상처를 소독할 것이랑 붕대로 쓸 만한 것. 시체는 이놈인가?
I'm afraid these leaves can only be added to tea. Coal dust under the nails.
이
I don't
녀석이다.
see
그
much coal around here.
석탄 손에 석탄이 있는
A steel
거구나.
dirk, sharp, a common accessory among sailors and soldiers.
뭔가 있다.
An interesting
문신.
tattoo. Does it mean something? I'd say the blade penetrated upward, however, the wound is too messy to be certain.
이 녀석이 그림을 털어간 놈이 아닐까 싶긴 한데, 그죠?
Heavy boots, with one sole far more
다리를
worn than
절었던
the other.
사람이다. 이 사람이 맞는
This
거 같다.
man was limping John. A violent death. But this man, limping. Coal dust. I think we're onto something here, John.
건달은 보겔의 화랑에도 방문했다. 난민 캠프에서 죽은 남자는 보겔의 화랑에 침입했던 자와 동일 인물이다. 이거. 메르쿠리오를 살해한 자와 화랑도둑은 동일 인물이다. 화랑도둑이 메르쿠리오의 집에 있었다. 방문객은 사진을 찾았던 것일 수도 있다. 도둑이 원한 건 사진이었다. 도둑은 사진을 훔치러 메르쿠리오의 집에 왔지만 사진은 찾지 못하고 자신을 방어하려다가 화가를 죽이고 말았다. 선.
Just washed. Better
아마도
than nothing to
깨끗하다.
bandage the wound.
갈대.
It won't do any good.
쓸모가 없대. 호랑가시나무.
That will kill, not
얘
save him.
이거 그냥 무지성으로 마을 사람들 한 방에 몰아넣고 총 겨누면서 자백유도제 한 명씩 먹이고 천국 보내면 그냥 범인 잡지 않을까 싶은데.
상처를 소독할 거를 하나 찾아야 되는데.
The refugees have been detained and will not leave until all the circumstances are clarified.
상처 소독 역시 술이 짱이지.
범인은 무언가를 찾고 있었다. 범인은 총기를 사용하고 있었다. 범인은 현장에 다시 나타난다. 스스로 범인은 난가?
난가? 범인이 사실 나였고? 알로에.
I can use this to stop the infection from spreading. I've plated all the ingredients now to prepare the first aid solution.
입만 갈면 된다. 21 마이너스 4. 중앙에 마이너스 2짜리 있다고? 아 여기구나. 이렇게 하면은 1, 3 저기 1이구나. 1자리가 필요하구나. 2 올리기.
내가 가는 곳마다 사람이 죽어 있다. 내가 없으면 사람이 안 죽는다. 그렇다 범인은 나다.
그렇다. 확실히 점점 화학식이 복잡해지는군요.
Thank you. This should make you feel better, my friend. Now remain lying down and drink as much water as you can.
Well done, Sherry. At least he won't die from the infection.
뭐? 치료해줬는데 경멸한다고? 그래야겠나?
The blood sprayed off the blade after the
흰기로
strike.
맞고 피가 뿌려졌다.
No hint of blood or impact.
이걸로 때리진 않았나?
It might have been used as an improvised weapon.
딱히 혈흔 같은 건 보이지 않네요.
영국인의 맛을 보여주면 다들 정신 차리고 알아서 술술 불겁니다. 자, 여기 정어리 팔입니다.
Someone was dragged against their will.
끌려갔어.
You know what? I'd like to understand.
What?
How did our dead man end up inside the camp in the first place?
침입자는 어떻게 캠프 안으로 들어왔나? 물에 닿아서 뒤질 뻔. 네, 물에 닿으면 금방 죽으려고 하더라고요.
If they find out about the passage, it...
아니야. 왜 이렇게 아닌 게 많어? 제 얘기할 놈들.
If they find out about the...
돈. 돈 때문에 경관들은 시체가 발견된 것 때문에 캠프에 엄격한 봉쇄 조치가 내려져 계획에 차질이 생기고 현금 수금에 문제가 생길까 걱정하고 있다.
Nobody will know anything if you keep your blood...
몰래 지금 이제 미리국한 난민들을 밖으로 빼내고 있나 본데.
Fishy here, Sherry. Perhaps we... Sherry, just look at this. Living quarters in a sewer. What kind of a genius bureaucrat came up with this idea?
튼튼함 오랫동안 열리지 않아.
Sealed shut. I doubt our man could get through these grates.
일단 여긴 아닌 것 같아, 그지?
Can I ask you a question?
Unfortunately, my casebook is empty on this.
캠프에서 사람들한테 물어보면 이 문제에 대해 알아보자고 하네.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
Unfortunately, my casebook is empty on this.
This isn't working. You might need a different tack.
You still here?
I'll just look around.
I will.
저거는 누구한테 물어봐야 되지? 배? 배는 가능성이 좀
It's unlikely anyone could get in or out of the camp by water without alerting the police guards.
그 사람한테 못 물어보나?
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, I don't know about that. Ask one of the others.
Back off.
개구멍 같은 데 없냐고? 저장을 한번 해놓고 개구멍이라고 할 만한 데가 당당하게 들어왔다?
A single Malpal butt.
당당하게 정문으로 들어왔었을 수도.
Roadman cigarettes. A brand highly regarded by law enforcement officers. So there wasn't any sophisticated infiltration plan. The good old police just let the man into the camp. Now we have everything we need to get the full picture of what happened at the camp.
그냥 들어왔던 거야.
hope I'm not making a grave mistake in trusting you, Mr. Holmes.
캠프에서 사람들한테 물어봐야 된다는데 누구한테 물어봐야 되지? 경위한테 물어봐야 되나?
You still here?
The guards at the sewers were speaking about taking refugees out of the camp. Do you know anything about this, Inspector?
Less than you do, obviously.
And this doesn't bother you as an officer of the law?
I can neither punish them nor put them on the right track, if that's what you're asking. Maybe your friends at City Hall could do something about it, but I seriously doubt that. To be honest, I'm sick and tired of being frowned on for my uniform. If those fine gentlemen you've eavesdropped on are in some shady business, that's on their heads.
아, 들어본 적은 없지만 동료들이 그런 일에 연관돼 있다는데 놀란 것 같지 않대.
I'm busy. Don't you have papers to fill? City Hall rubberheads.
I hope I'm not making a grave mistake in trusting you, Mr. Holmes.
그럼 이제 누구한테 물어봐야 되지? 직접 물어봐야 되나?
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, I don't know about that. Ask one of the others.
이제 난민들한테 물어봐야 되나? 근데 난민들 쪽은 아직 못 들어가거든요. 그럼 이거를 해가지고 난민 쪽을 갈 수 있게끔 해봐야 되나? 네, 상처 입은 놈 아무 말 안 하더라고요. 스파르타. 여기에 왼손으로 짚었던 흔적이 있으니까 뒤로 밀었을까요, 그지? 그리고 상자가 가장창 했었으니까 이랬을까? 유체 이탈이 아니고 이제 띵킹 타임 하는 겁니다. 앉아가지고 이제 머릿속에서 이제 어떤 일이 있었는지 그려보는 겁니다. 쫓아온다 도망쳐를 하지 않았을까? 여기서 이렇게 목걸이가 뜯어졌고
홈즈의 띵킹 타임, 합리적 결과의 출원, 특수의 띵킹 타임, 어쌔신 크리드 마냥 절벽 넘어서 침입, 카데이 띵킹 타임, 고만사.
강제로 끌고 가려고 했었던 것 같아. 그지? 그렇죠.
So, we have a thug who came to take a refugee woman with him. She resisted, but he dragged her by force.
저항을
One of the
했지만 끌고
refugees
가다가
stood in his way, armed with a stick.
막대기를 들고
Yet he
막으려고
could do nothing
했는데
against a cutthroat with a blade. The man didn't anticipate that the other refugees would intervene and stand against him. In the confusion, the woman managed to break free. The thug took fright and fled.
밥을 먹고 도망을
He was
쳤는데
stopped by the falling crates. He
상자로
stumbled and fell, piercing
막아버리고
his chest with his own blade.
넘어지면서
However, the
자기가
wound didn't
찔렀다.
cause instant death. He managed to stand, but still bleeding, he lost his balance on the bridge and fell. Before all of this, the man had freely entered the camp through the main entrance. The police admitted him after they had a short smoke together.
You live by the sword, you die by the
어이없게
sword.
자살했네.
In our man's case, it's the same sword.
이거 맞아?
Back off.
신종 자살법인가? 일단 뭐 이렇게 된 것 같아. 건달은 여자를 납치하려고 했다. 단순한 도둑이 아니고 누군가의 부하인 것. 그는 도둑이면서 납치범이기도 하다. 그는 누군가의 부하로서 다양한 임무를 하는 사람이다. 일 것 같다. 오케이. 입증은 성공했는데
You still here?
Inspector, I believe I can aid your investigation. I know who the dead man is and what really happened here.
You do? Well, good for you. But I'm afraid I'm not the one you need to share your findings with. Speak to Mr. Harlow here. He's the one responsible for settling things in the camp.
You don't even care to listen?
Oh, I do care. And maybe even more than I need to. But I'm only here today to lock the place up, question witnesses, and file the facts. It's sad, but coming up with conclusions is not among my tasks here. You fellows at City Hall do that. Anyway, speak to the supervisor. I'll just stand by and listen to what you have to say.
내가 내린 결론으로 할 수 있는 일이 없대.
Mr. Harlow, your refugees didn't murder anyone.
What? Pray tell me what you've
얘한테
learned.
말해야 된다.
All right, listen carefully. This might solve one problem for you, but will create a few more.
Oh, well, that's a great start.
The man came to the camp
시작부터
intending to
느끼셨네요.
kidnap one of your refugees, a woman. What he didn't expect was that the refugees would stand up to protect the woman. A brawl had broken out. In the chaos of it, the man stumbled over those crates and fell on his own blade.
How do you know he fell on his own blade?
The wound in his chest was inflicted from an unusual angle. It was not an offensive stab, shall we say. The refugees didn't touch him. And judging by the blood at the scene, the intruder managed to raise himself but was unable to walk very far. He ultimately
어쩌다 보니까
fell into the canal.
스스로 죽이고 말았다.
How did he sneak into the camp? Why didn't the police see him?
And this is where your new problems emerge, Mr. Harlow.
What do you mean?
You're not a dull-witted man. You know what I mean. There is no feasible way to get into the camp without the police guards knowing of it.
The pile of mess I had to sort out has just become bigger. But somehow that doesn't surprise me.
일단 다 해결이
Anyway,
됐거든요.
I thank you for your help, Mr. Holmes. I'll take it from here. Meanwhile, I'll make sure the police aren't detaining
이제
the
증인을
refugees
찾으러
any
갈 수
longer. You can go back in and look for your witness.
You think one small clerk can make any difference in this place?
Who knows, John? Just one ill-fitting cog could make the whole machine crumble.
자, 일단 저건 됐고 난민 캠프에서 말을 좀 해볼 수 있을 것 같은데.
You're the one who tended to our man's wounds. I thank you greatly. The police didn't allow us to help him.
The police will leave you alone now. I've proven to them that the man who came into the camp died due to his own foolishness.
Thank you for standing up for us. But nobody would help us without a
친절하게
reason.
했으니까 그래도.
You're here because you want something.
Yes, I do. I need to speak with the girl drawn here.
The dead man came for her too. He wanted to take the girl away, but we won't allow her to be hurt again. What do you want from Nayla?
아, 이름이 니엘라야?
She was hurt some time ago. I'm here to find the people who did this and bring them to justice. And to find them, I need Nayla's help. Will you let me speak to her?
Justice. There's no justice on this land. But you helped us, so maybe your words are not empty. You can speak to Nayla if she wants it. But I will be watching you.
그래도 도와줬어갖고 그렇게까지 막 박하게 대하지
Hello,
않네.
Nayla. My name is Sherlock. I know someone hurt you. I am here to help. I'm trying to find the people involved and bring them to justice. Please. There is a photograph, and I'm sorry, it is terrible, but I simply must ask. Where did this happen? What can you tell me about these people?
들고 가버렸어.
Christ, Sherlock. Nayla, I'm sorry. I'm not very good at this.
You come here for me, but you are rude and cruel and condescending. A cross. The man had this cross. Now go away.
맞는 말이야.
You must be. I do not need another white man's help.
Oh, glad that wasn't me.
Not my best work, John, by a long shot. Nayla doesn't want us meddling. I'm starting to wonder what this all achieves.
But she helped you anyway. Now we know that maniac's face and the cross he wore, we can still catch him.
At least some of your kind have a heart. Thank you again.
이 사람 말을 못 걸 것 같아. 자, 목에 독특한 문신이 있고.
Excuse me, just one question.
Sorry. We don't see much here.
May I ask for your assistance?
They often take us from the camps to work.
아, 가끔 일 시키러 캠프 밖으로 데리고 나가.
It's the only way we get a glimpse of freedom.
아, 수상한 사람들이 정기적으로 캠프에 방문해서 난민들을 데려가 다양한 일을 시킨다. 일은 보통 힘들지만 난민들은 돈과 음식을 얻는다. 그 여자애도 그런 식으로 일을 시키러 데려갔다가 폭행을 당했다. 그 난민들은 그들이 여성을 데려가지 못하게 하기로 했다.
So there's a smuggling ring in the camp. This wasn't the first time that someone freely entered the camp to take a refugee out.
At least it was certainly his last time. My gut tells me that we'll learn more about this ring when we find out where the
네,
thug
약간
came from.
그런 문신이었죠. 그런 비스무리한 문신. 그러니까 난민들을 그러니까 싸니까 다른 일꾼들을 고용하는 것보다 훨씬 싸니까 아마 그런 식으로 이제 브로커를 통해서 이제 경찰이랑 이제 결탁해가지고 데려가서 일을 시켰나 본데. 지금 이제 성폭행을 당한 피해 여성도 그렇게 일을 하려고 나갔다가 그런 사건이 발생을 했나봐요, 그죠? 네, 일용직 막 그런 거 하는데 싸니까 값이 싸니까 썼나봐. 성폭행범은 고위급 관료다. 이런 배지는 일반적으로 고위급 공무원들에게 하사된다. 사진 속의 성폭행범이 고위 관료일 수가 있다. 그래. 그림을 그려줬네요, 그죠? 독특한 십자가 모양이잖아. 그러네. 뭔가 훈장 같은 걸 받았구만. 고위 관료. 요거는 이제 찾아보러 가야겠네. 문신은 이제 아는 사람이 있나?
I owe you a lot, Mr. Holmes.
You still here?
혹시 이거 아세요?
The intruder has a most peculiar tattoo on his neck, 2 lines and a point. Do you know anything about it?
You really want to know, kid? Why? You want to play a policeman or something?
I'm sure you have it in your records, so it won't hurt if I have it in mine.
In my records, it's just a tattoo, as it should be in yours. Ah, to hell with you. Suit yourself as to what you're going to do with it. Off the record, though, such tattoos are often connected to a man named Mr. Niccolo Bernadotti.
Niccolo Bernadotti.
A respectable businessman in Scalario. His company imports goods and wines and smuggles everything that can be smuggled between the colonies and the mainland. His people can be identified by an obscure tattoo, just like the one over there our friend has. But these are all merely rumors, you see. If Mr. Bernadotti was a criminal, he'd be in prison now. Or hanged, right?
여기 있는 증거는 이제 다 이제 챙긴 것 같죠? 캠프 침입자의 문신하고 이 둘 증거를 이제 아카이브에서 찾아야 될 것 같아요. 가기 전에 옷 갈아입고 가자. 뒷배가 있는지 자기 자신이 뒷배 그 자체인지는 모르겠지만 아무튼 평범한 사업가는 아닌 것 같죠?
People on the island. The finest clothes for the finest citizens. Of course, think it over. Take your time.
고위급이면은 시청으로 가야 되나? 아예 여장도 가능합니다. 아까 해결했던 사건 중에 여장 해가지고 들어가는 사건도 있었습니다. 여장과 납탄으로 해결했지. 공무원인 것 같고 영국인인 것 같고 버나도티 유한 회사 유약. 아프리카 영국 식민지와 코르도나를 포함한 영국령 로감을 제품을 수송한다. 회사 설립자는 니콜로 버나도티시다. 버나도티시가 코르도나에 도착한 후 그는 중요한 예술계 후원가 및 코르도나 사회복지 투자가로 발돋움을 했다. 최근 공헌했던 것으로는 경찰서를 위해 새 장비를 구매한 것과 리드 제플린이라는 비행선을 독일에서 가져올 수 있도록 총독을 지원한 일이 있다. 그리고 이 방탕자도 찾아야 되거든요. 영국의 고위 공무원. 토마스 노튼. 1840년에 런던에서 출생. 1864년에 옥스퍼드 대학교 졸업. 1869년 내무성에서 비서로 일을 시작한다. 1875년 인도에서 군사위원직을 맡다. 1877년 여왕이 하사하는 바스 훈장 수여. 1878년 3월 1일 코르도나의 영국 특사로 임명돼 시청의 사무실이 마련돼. 이놈인가? 토마스 노튼? 시청에 사무실이 있다는데?
I'm curious, how did Mycroft recruit you? I doubt you're a field agent. I imagine you work with intelligence.
That's correct. Your brother noticed me when I tracked down a spy at the archives. That's how our cooperation began. And you? Did Mycroft force you into this?
Not at all. We simply have a mutual interest in someone. Or something.
Of course. A fruitful and willing collaboration, I'm sure.
Well, I'm his younger brother. I have to accept the consequences of being a close relative of an official figure.
I suppose in a way we are colleagues, Mr. Holmes.
In the remotest way possible, Miss Oni.
못 들어가나? 어디 사무실 없냐? 토마스 노튼 여기 있다.
If you're here on matters of signing up for military service, come back tomorrow. Our department needs to straighten out some business.
관찰. 지난밤 잠들지 못했음. 면도할 시간도 없었음. 훈장도 있음. 항상 하고 있어서 훈장이 좀 낡았다. 구겨진 옷. 늦게까지 일했나? 피? 와인? 피? 후회 같은 소리하고 앉았네. 일보다는 타락과 알코올에 몰두한 흉악범이다.
Why are you staring at me like I'm a Madame Tussauds figure? Didn't you hear what I just said?
On my way here, I was wondering whether you might regret what you did. I tried my best to retain at least a shred of faith in humanity. I had hoped that you would hear her scream, see her face in your dreams, or at least once ask yourself how Nayla might feel.
Who?
Neither of my hopes were fulfilled.
Why are you here?
You defiled a girl who was with child. Don't even pretend that you regret what took place. Do you wonder why I came here? It is because I am disgusted with people like you, and the only way in my mind to rid the world of your ilk is to see you hanging from the gallows.
All right, all right. Is it about money, as you said in the letter? I have it, all right? There's no need for violence.
I've never written a single word to you. As you can see, I have a more direct approach.
That letter, it wasn't from you. So what do you want?
Answers, to start with.
Fine.
일단 때리고 봤는데 아무튼 해결은 진행은 되는구나.
Sherlock Holmes, and I do not.
Shame. All the best discussions are accompanied by a glass of whiskey. But out of respect
더 맞기 싫어서 얌전한 거 보세요.
I won't drink either.
Respect? That's an unusual word in your mouth, Mr.
Where are my manners? My name is Thomas Norton, a British envoy in Cordona on a military mission. So, where do we start?
더 못 때리나?
You mentioned blackmail. Tell me about it.
All right. A couple of days ago, I received an anonymous letter. It said that in the art gallery at Caravansary there exists a painting that incriminates me. The blackmailer made it clear that if there is a painting, then a photograph exists too. And I should be wary of what it might do to my reputation.
What does the blackmailer want from you?
Money, of course. What else do such people want? Needless to say, I don't remember anyone taking photographs at the party. Up until the last moment, I hoped he was bluffing. But he wasn't. As you've just proven to me.
바로 죽방.
I burnt it as soon as I read it.
아, 읽자마자 태웠대.
I've left enough evidence. There's no need for any more.
So, let's return to the beginning. What happened at the party?
I vaguely remember that night. As usual at such parties, you meet people, you talk with them, they invite you to spend some time alone with them. What can I say? I got myself mixed up with the wrong company, and somebody must have mixed some psychoactive substance in my drink. After that, it's all blurry.
누가 자기한테 약을 줘서 몰랐다? 잘 모르겠다? 기억이 안 난다?
I made a terrible mistake which I regret.
고위직의 단골
You don't
멘트 아니냐?
say. Do refugee girls often appear on the menu at those types of parties?
It's rather rare.
저런
So you
애들은
didn't attend the party to
머리에
engage in an
납을
exotic experience involving a vulnerable woman
정신
unable to
차리던데.
accuse you of assault.
빨리
I would never
넣어줍시다.
have planned such a terrible thing. What happened was
빨리
just
정신을 차리게 만들어야
bad
돼.
circumstance.
The painting that depicted you in the image of the devil was stolen by a mercenary. Did you have anything to do with it?
I might be a rotten person, sir, but hiring criminals for illicit purposes is not in my daily schedule.
And buying the painting in an attempt to hide the crime, is that on your daily schedule?
What would you do in my situation?
I would never put myself
네,
in such a
머리에 나비
situation.
들어가면 정신을
You're
차릴 수밖에 없죠.
I could never have imagined
그
myself in my
정신을 차린 게
position.
이제
Yet here I am in front of you.
몸이
We all make
움직이기
mistakes,
전에
Mr.
정신을
Holmes.
차리느냐,
And I'm no
몸을
exception.
움직일 수 없게 된 후에 정신을 차리느냐, 뭐 그런 차이지 뭐.
Boniface Mercurio, does the name mean anything to you?
He's an artist, right?
The one responsible for the painting that compromises you. I found him dead in his room.
Oh, that is bad. Wait, you don't think that I have anything to do with this?
You had motive to kill him.
Maybe I did, but listen. I know how this looks, but murder? That's on another level. I had thoughts that this Mercutio...
Mercurio?
Well, him, yes. I thought he could have been the blackmailer. But I was too afraid to make any hasty decisions. There were plenty of ways to fail by making a move, so I chose to wait. To see what he would do next. You have to believe me.
I don't believe people, I
안
believe
믿어.
evidence.
Then look at the evidence. Mr. Holmes, I've built my entire career on hard work and uncompromising dedication to the Crown. I made a mistake, but I'm not a villain from some cheap adventure fiction. By putting me behind bars, you will benefit precisely no one.
Rotting in prison is the least you deserve, but I have a better idea. You will make amends and help the ones you hurt.
왜지? 납탄을 박는 거 아니었어? 아, 닐라를 직접 돕거나 난민을 돕거나 할 수 있네. 일단 닐라한테.
Nayla deserves the very utmost of what you can do.
Help the girl? I can't risk the press paying extra attention to her. I will do anything except that.
That's not all. Use
아,
your
둘 다
connections to
하라는
help
거구나.
repatriate the refugees, find them decent homes, give them jobs. There must be a meaning to your position and my decision.
Yes, all right, I can do that. So, will you give me the photograph now?
I need to think this all through.
응, 안 줘.
Don't do anything foolish in the meantime.
What makes you think you can
응, 안
decide
줘.
what's best for these people?
경찰에다가 제출할 거야.
Such is the arrogance of British imperialism. I take your point.
난민들 집 다 이제 구해주고 직업 구하게 다 해주고 나서 구직 활동 다 완료 다 해주면은 경찰에다가 제출할 거야. 해제의 고통받는 해제의 피해자다. 저한 상황은 반드시 해결돼야 하며 또 해결할 수 있을 것이다. 특사는 자신의 평판을 지키고 싶어한다. 자비 없는 정의. 아, 특사에게 사진을 주고 그 대가로 난민들의 지위를 합법화하는 게 있고, 더 큰 선언을 위한 작은 악, 그리고 자비 따위 없는 정의, 이렇게 있네요. 일단 뭐 저렇게는 됐고 다른 걸 더 찾아야 돼 또. 버나도티 유한 회사 쪽으로 또 가야 되거든요. 그죠? 사진을 먼저 넘겨준다고 그걸 다 해줄 거란 보장은 없긴 해. 확실히 다 진행을 하고 나서 받는다면 모를까. 니콜로 버나도티의 기업 운영은 동남 스칼라디오 동남쪽 로만가 교차로 근처 바자가, 로만가 교차로 근처의 바자가 이쪽인가? 왜 홈즈가 결정하는 거냐고? 홈즈니까. 근처 어딘 것 같은데. 아 여기 있다. 뒤지가네.
자비 없는 정의.
It seems they're
추리를 하던
not
도중 여러
expecting
사람을
guests.
쏴 죽인 홈즈를 죽이자. 더 큰 선을 위한 앞으로 잡을 범죄자를 위해 홈즈를 살리자.
I'll wait for an invitation, John.
These workers don't look like your average Cordona.
관물과
They're
일꾼으로
refugees
가득하다.
from the camp.
난민들. 뒷마당의 일꾼은 캠프에 난민들이 많다.
May I ask for your assistance?
Sorry, we don't see much here.
That's our way in, Sherry.
난입하든가 경비가 우리를 통과시켜줄 방법을 찾아야 된다.
Hey, yo. This is private property. You lost something.
Good day, sir. I've been sent by City Hall to see Mr. Bernadotte about...
Mr. Bernadotte isn't seeing anyone. You have 3 seconds to walk away or you'll never walk again. Capito?
It's in Mr. Bernadotte's best interest to...
1.
이 자식이!
I did try to resolve this basement.
내기 전에 내가 먼저 처리한다.
I'm coming for you.
No, you killed him. I thought we were against murder. Hey, you could have kept him alive. I thought we were against murder. No, you killed him. You can overcome the brute now. I thought we were against murder.
체포하면 돈 주냐고요? 아 체포하면 돈 많이 주겠죠? 물론 저 그럴 생각이 없습니다.
Hey, you could have kept him alive. He's all yours now. No, you killed him.
이런 좋다 이런. 난 엎치락뒤치락하는 이 몸싸움과 대담함을 즐기고 있었는데 사람들이 죽어나가기 시작했다. 그 사람을 죽이지 않았으면 좋겠다. 돈이 그렇게 많이 필요한 게임은 아니니까. 연쇄 살인마다 홈즈.
이분 사람 죽이려고 탐정한 거 맞죠?
맞아요.
You disappointed me so much, Sherlock.
많이 실망시킨대.
Sherry, look. This seems familiar.
No, sir. Don't hurt me.
It's all right. I won't harm you.
걱정하지 마십시오.
Like you didn't harm the folks on the way here.
An amazing piece of culture. I imagine many collectors and museums would be interested in having it. An amazing piece of culture. I imagine many collectors and museums would be interested in having it.
이게 레벨인가 뭔가 하는 뭐 그런 거냐?
A Dogon statue from West Africa. A century old at least. Masks, traditional for the Chokwe people of Central Africa. VH Greenleaf low blue tableware. This is what lies behind the facade of Bernadotte Company Limited.
역시 밀수맨이었나 봐.
Is this?
어?
Let's see what's
이 그림 그대로 또 있다. 어디를 확인해야 되는 거지?
Vogel's stolen painting. Isn't it
굉장히
curious how
고화질
it developed
그림이군요.
into a much more interesting case?
아 그러면은 그 화랑의 그 걔 죽은 애 방에 있던 거는 미완성본이었던 건가? 이게 완성본이고? 그런가 본데 그지? 그림 위에 그거는 완성이 안 된 것처럼 보였었는데 그지? 다른 증거는 뭐 없나? 콘티? 뭐 그런 건가?
This marble fella. It's like he was made after my image. You see it?
Don't come any closer. One step and I'll shred you to pieces.
Keep standing in my way and no one will ever see you again.
아무도 당신 실체를 못 찾을 것이다.
Yep. Well, excuse me, sir. I think I hear. I've got to. It's better I leave.
너도 머리에 납탄 들어가 볼래?
Oh, wow. That was as if somebody put my words in your mouth.
무진탐정. 안 들어가지네? 저쪽인가? 여긴 다른 건 뭐 있나? 이거 말고는 뭐 없는 것 같은데 그지? 아 범죄자들을 처리한 거기 때문에 괜찮습니다.
Please don't shoot me. I have a family. Spare me. Spare me.
목숨만 살려달라. 합법적인 화물 운송장이고요. 값비싼 종이, 시청의 상징, 무도의 초청. 이렇게 한 명 있어.
홈즈가 여태 체포가 되지 않은 이유. 자신의 살인 사건을 자신이 맡아서 추리함. 그래서 미해결 사건으로 놔둠.
Suppose it's Mr. Bernadotte with our fine governor.
벌립.
1875. It's taken a few years back. John, how many people in Cordona have a photograph with the governor, do you think?
You definitely don't have one. This is it. This is where all the magic happens.
다른 건 뭐 더 없는 것 같죠?
So, you've cut through all the guards just to talk to me.
재치다니요. 다
we shall go.
죽였는데. 제치지 않았는데. 상당한 수집품.
Whenever you're ready. I'd hate to intrude.
조직 문신. 다른 사람들과 달라. 근데 문신이 3줄이나 있어. 지저분한 일을 피하지 않는 단단한 손. 상한 피부. 펠라그라를 알았다. 펠라그라가 뭐지? 뭔 병이지? 권총집에 넣은 권총. 냉혈한. 결혼을 했네. 지저분한 일을 피하지 않는 무자비한 조직 두목. 밭에서 일하면은 걸릴 수 있는 질병인 건가? 펠라그라가?
Bad news. The thug you sent to the refugee camp only succeeded in stabbing himself. His next and final journey will be to the morgue.
Hold your horses. Who the hell are you?
Sherlock Holmes. And you are Niccolo Bernadotti,
일수꾼,
smuggler,
납치범,
kidnapper, and
살인범.
notorious cutthroat.
마지막 건
among other
나도
things.
해당되는 것 같은데.
Few men would dare waltz into my office and address me like that. You are either overconfident or unintelligent. This is private property. Give me one reason why I should not shoot you on the spot. I am sure my friends at the station
제가 먼저
would
쏠
call
거니까
it
걱정하지 마십시오.
self-defense.
As I said, your man was found dead in the refugee camp. He was there to kidnap a woman, but the other refugees intervened to try and save her. The ensuing scuffle resulted in the man's accidental suicide. He sported the same tattoo as your men in this building. In fact, it also bears a resemblance to the one on your neck. Care to explain what business your man had with this woman?
You have no idea what you are talking about. I can assure you this was no kidnapping. The refugees in the camp are on edge. What happened there is a tragic accident, one I am not responsible for.
For what reason was your man there if
뭘
not
하고
to
있었는데?
abduct her?
Why would I answer? You are yet to justify your presence in the slightest.
Mr. Bernadotti, do you know the name Boniface Mercurio?
I do not.
Mercurio was a local artist. Recently, a man broke into his apartment, ransacked the place, and killed him. The thief was looking for something.
You are testing my patience, boy.
In a moment, the connection will reveal itself. I was hired, privately, to investigate the recent theft of a painting from an art gallery. My investigation led me to a man from your organization, and thus, to you, Mr. Bernadotti.
That is quite a stretch. Why would I need to steal a painting when I could buy anyone I wanted?
Interestingly enough, I spotted the stolen painting in your storeroom.
I buy and sell a lot of things, Mr. Holmes. Unfortunately, if this is true, it is not the first time I have been sold stolen merchandise. I presume you were hired by the owner of the gallery. Tell them to contact me, and we'll sort out the situation. So, this painting is why you broke into my office. So many words, so little action. When you barged into my office, Mr. Holmes, I got the impression you wanted to talk business. Now I see you had come just to talk. Tell me exactly what you want, or get out.
It was necessary groundwork for what comes next. I have enough evidence to conclude that the gallery thief, the artist's killer, and the dead man in the camp are all the same person.
Your time is almost up, Mr. Holmes.
Before you draw your gun, there is one final detail I am yet to mention. The young woman your man was tasked to collect from the refugee camp had been defiled at a perverse masquerade party. That violation was captured in a photograph by Boniface Mercurio and used as a reference for his painting. The photo shows the attacker's face.
Finally. That's why you're here, Mr. Holmes. You have the photograph.
It is what your man was after when he broke into Mercurio's apartment, and it is what you're after too, isn't it, Mr. Bernadotte?
You have the photograph with you. How much do you want for it?
I am not naive enough to carry it with me, but I am yet to decide what I shall do with it. I know the man in the photo is a British envoy. What interest do you have in his downfall?
I must admit, I'm rather impressed by how comprehensively you have
대답을
pursued
해주려는
this
건가?
matter. And so, you deserve the honest answer. My business dealings are often arduous in their bureaucracy. A man in his position, willing to look the other way, could ease my work
연주를 만들어 두려고?
significantly. In return, I will make sure no one looks his way
협박으로
either.
연주를
A
만들기.
favor for a favor.
Also known as blackmail, the modus operandi of any true professional.
It was not originally my idea. Mercurio set things in motion, extorting the envoy for the most trivial of ends. Money. In response, the envoy hired my man to retrieve the painting and the photograph, eliminating Mercurio's leverage. I only learned the whole story after the artist was killed in his home.
And rather than extricate yourself, instead you took over Mercurio's venture.
It fell into my lap. As a businessman, I simply seized the opportunity. Now, how much do you want for the image?
Why did you send your man to remove the woman
왜
from the camp?
데려가려 했냐?
Without a photograph, her testimony was the next best thing. Securing her was in everyone's interest. Victims and witnesses all too often disappear.
피해자를
I thought the girl was safer with
확보해두려고?
us. I did not anticipate what would happen at the camp.
I could not help but appreciate the collection of smuggled
셜록이 왜
artifacts in
이렇게
your storeroom.
잘생겼냐고요?
You
젊은
have rather
시절이라서요?
diversified your business.
Oh, high and mighty of you, Mr. Holmes. Not all smuggling is immoral. I pay generous rates to developing cultures and spread their culture to eager buyers. And furthermore, I supply many immigrants with a taste of home.
A very convenient way of thinking.
I have traveled wildly, Mr. Holmes. I've seen people in far-flung lands for whom my services are a lifeline. Without them, they would starve. The tax on cargo is often so absurd that it would be more profitable to simply sink your ship than dock it in the harbor. And trust me, I am speaking from experience.
창고의 난민들.
I saw refugees from the camp at your warehouse. They work for you.
I have made certain arrangements with City Hall and the police. Thanks to me, refugees can work and be paid. It's a pathway to freedom.
And how much do you save by capitalizing on their cheap labor?
I have heard no complaints. They seem happy just to get out of that slum.
Why should I give you the photograph?
사진을 왜 줘야 되죠?
Just name your price.
What if my price were not money? You claim to have connections, Mr. Bernadotte. Perhaps you could improve conditions for the refugees. Give them a chance for a better life.
Ha! I do have connections, Mr. Holmes, but help the whole camp? You are asking too much. I could, however, make arrangements for one person. The woman who was violated will have her own home outside the camp, solely for her and her child. She will no longer be a refugee, but a princess.
에반데 한 명
That
에반데.
I can guarantee.
Is that really possible?
It will be neither fast nor easy, but I can do it. She deserves it, don't you agree? And as for her abuser, he will serve me as much as he deserves.
So, in your plan, everybody will be given their due. Especially you, Mr. Bernadotte.
Seems like a fair
아,
deal.
깜빵에 집어넣는
no?
건 안 되냐?
I doubt anyone could offer you better. Simply give me the photograph, and the world becomes a better place. I give you my word.
와, 이거 좀 선택이 좀.
The front door's now open, sir. You can leave through it. If you want, of course.
근데 여기 증거 아직 남아 있는 게 있어. 아직 못 찾은 증거가 있거든요.
I am positive our deal will benefit everyone.
여기는 문이 안 열린단 말이지. 증거가 다른 아직 못 찾은 증거가 있는 것 같은데. 모든 증거를 찾아야 돼. 두 가지가 있네. 보스방 들어가기 전 오른쪽 방? 보스방 들어가기 전에 오른쪽 방이 어딨어? 여긴 정문이잖아. 여긴 정문으로 나가는 곳이잖아. 나갔다가 다시 못 들어오는 경우가 생길 수 있거든요. 조심해야 되거든요. 일단 증거를 찾아야 되는데 이렇게도 되고. 그러니까 둘 다 그냥 집어넣거나 뭐 아니면 뭐 그런 건가? 못 찾은 증거가 어딨지?
Excuse me, just one question.
Sorry, we don't see much here.
An amazing piece of culture. I imagine many collectors and museums would be interested in having it.
증거가 아직 못 찾은 증거가 남아 있어서 분명히 지금 모든 단서가 안 나온 건데 어디 있을까요?
This is it.
그냥 안
This is where all
열리는데.
the magic happens.
그냥 문이 있는 척하는 게.
Bernadotte Limited will always look forward to your visits.
I need some time.
사진을 여기다 그냥 주는 게 있고. 뭐가 안 돼 있는 거지? 뭘까? 사진을 주는 게 마지막 증거 아니야? 그러진 않을 것 같은데. 뒷뜰 쪽에 증거가 혹시 남아있는 게 있나?
This earthenware came a long way from the Staffordshire potteries. Porcelain friend for every child.
그런가 보구만. 뒤뜰 쪽에.
An essential remedy against sea scourge on any ship. An essential remedy against... May I ask you something?
Sorry, we don't see much here.
Shipped from Cape Town. The wine route from colony to colonies. Bernadotte doesn't miss an opportunity to occupy every niche in the market.
이랬는데도 안 됐나? 아, 그냥 둘 다 잡아가는 선택지 있습니다. 그러니까 둘 다 잡아가든지 아니면 사진을 둘 중 한 명한테 건네주든지 뭐 그런 식이다.
Shipped from Cape Town. The wine... Could you help me?
Sorry, we don't see much here.
아, 여기서 증거 하나 남는 거 굉장히 킹 받는데.
This earthenware came a long way from the Staffordshire potteries. Porcelain friend for every child.
모든 증거를 찾아야 되는데 굉장히 킹 받거든요 지금.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
Sorry, we don't see much here.
밖에 있는 건 본 것 같은데. 분명히 뭔가 있어야 할 텐데. 홈즈가 죽인 증거? 빗자국은 내가 쏴서 죽인 놈들 빗자국인가? 뭐가 없는데. 이 녀석은 선택이 안 되고 이것도 다 선택했고.
This marble fella. It's like he was made after my image.
물어봐도 답이 없고. 저 사진 회전되냐고요? 사진 아니고 그림 회전이 되나? 안 되는 것 같아. 안 눌러져. 아이 제 얘기랑 킹 받네.
The Bernadotte Company Limited trade network reaches the most distant colonies of the Great Empire.
It must be very convenient for a man like Bernadotte.
됐다. 오케이, 완료. 자, 그러면 이제 어떻게 해결할 것인가? 바로 자비 없는 정의. 사진을 보겔에게 건네면 그가 모든 것을 대중에게 알릴 것이다. 모두 조지자. 둘 다 신뢰할 수 없다. 화랑이 어디 있었더라? 어느 쪽에 있었더라? 아, 여기였나? 일단 저장부터 하자고. 일단 뭐 혹시 모르니까 저장해놓고. 난민은 뭐 몰라, 뭐 정부에서 알아서 하겠지. 함정이 그런 것까지 신경 써야 되냐고.
Mr. Holmes, you've returned. Have you uncovered anything new about the theft?
Not yet, Mr. Vogel.
주는 게 맞겠지? 주자.
Mr. Holmes, you've returned. Have you uncovered anything new about the theft?
약간 얘랑 만날 때마다 좀 굉장히 막 범죄를 저지를 것 같은 이상한 느낌이 온단 말이지.
I've brought news, but not all of it will please you.
Fill me in, Mr. Holmes. I won't shoot the messenger.
I tracked down Boniface Mercurio.
I presume he wasn't delighted about the situation.
He was not having a good day on account of his murder. Killed in his own flat by the same person that stole his painting.
Oh, sweet Mercurio. Perishing in the pursuit of his art. How apt. I will miss his exceptional sense of humor.
도둑도 죽었다.
I located the thief, but
보길
found
믿을 수
him
있냐고?
rather
몰라 나도.
cold. He was tight-lipped about the painting too.
Huh, he's dead. How very droll, Mr. Holmes. One presumes you were not responsible.
It was an accident at the refugee camp. He impaled himself on his own knife.
Life is nothing if not cruel and capricious. What about the stolen painting? Have you located it?
I found the source of Mercurio's artistic inspiration. A photograph. What troubled me was that the sexual act captured was non-consensual.
She was violated? Dear God, how despicable.
Her abuser was in fact the British envoy. Mercurio took a picture of him committing the atrocity and then used it as artistic inspiration.
I had no idea
신문사에다가
any break-in
보내도록.
would eventually expose such barbarity.
I found the painting, but I could not retrieve it.
Well then, where is it?
In Bernadotti's office.
Bernadotti? That shady businessman? Why would he steal it from me?
I'm afraid you'll have to ask him yourself.
I take it you found something more then.
Mr. Vogel, I want you to make everything public, including the photograph. I'm sure you have a connection at the Cordona Chronicle.
Ah, Mr. Holmes. Loyal to your own truth till the end. Yes, I'm acquainted with the staff of the Chronicle. The story is sensational, and will surely draw attention to the gallery. But you must be aware that exposing the scandal will further hurt the victim. Does that not bother you?
No matter what one does, the truth tends to come out, as well it should. I won't be the one to stand in its way.
Though it's only your subjective truth being exposed. Not that I'm judging. It's perfectly reasonable for everyone to have their own views.
When you called me, you knew exactly what you would get.
Oh, but I'm not like you, Mr. Holmes. I cannot be sure of anything. Regardless, I must thank you, for art's sake. Well,
사실 무슨
now
선택을
that
해도
we've
좀
resolved all of our outstanding matters, I have a gift for you. I took the liberty of having it delivered to Stonewood Manor. I am told it belonged to your mother.
And what exactly have you sent me?
Frankly, I'm not sure how to answer that. I trust you'll know.
Previously, you mentioned there may have been more to my mother's passing than consumption. It appears you were right.
Oh dear. I'd hoped to be wrong.
She was unstable, mentally unwell. She required sustained specialized treatment, but her madness persisted.
I knew that Violet had disappeared from the public eye, but had no idea of her suffering. I cannot imagine what you're feeling.
I'm fine.
갑자기 턱을 잡네 이놈이.
Thank you, Mr. Vogel. I am curious to see what you have procured.